Well, once again, I lost all my footage of the sanding, etching, and all this stuff. So, yeah, we're gonna do something a little different here. We have it all, the pieces. We just need to put them together. And we're going to talk a little bit about something else while we do that. Now, we do have to hand sand this and then get it prepped for glue up. Now, it's already really close to being done. Just a few little touches here and there. But what we have coming down for 2025 is we're gonna waffle this thing off, or raffle this thing off for the Florida School Education Center, and we're gonna be taking slots prior to the event here in June for the Florida School. But the majority of the slots will be for people that show up, and we'll have more about the Florida School Education Center throughout 2025, leading up to June of 2025. Blacksmith competition, potential other competitions, stuff like that. Now, 2025 is going to bring Rusty Hammer Forge something slightly different than what we were talking about doing this coming year. And we were going to do the So You Want to Be a Blacksmith series, where we would cover all the tools in the shop, how to build a shop from nothing, how to sell product and all that stuff. But we're not doing that. What we are going to be doing is doing a challenge. And that challenge is going to be making Feather Damascus. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, Feather Damascus, there's a challenge in making it, but it's not really a challenge if you know the process. That is true. The thing is, the challenge is to make Feather Damascus in a canister. You heard that right. In a canister. And the thing is, this has been a challenge that I've issued to my blacksmith guild. You take powdered steel, powdered mesh steel, put it in a can, do what you need to make the quill down the center, but you can only use powdered mesh steel. Then you put it in your press, you squish it down by 1/3, you take the can off, and then you turn it vertical and cut a slice off to see if you have your Feather Damascus. If you don't, then you got to start over. Now, we are obviously going to have lots of steel, viable steel to use. So it's not like we're just wasting material here, because we're going to end up using that steel. But the other part of this, when we're looking at whether it's Feather Damascus or not, we have to bring a coupon to the meeting in next November, to show that it's feather, and do something else that I myself have never done before. And what that something else is we got to make a dagger out of this steel. Obviously, having the quill run up the center of the dagger is optimal, but it just has to be a fully functioning dagger. Just about done with this right here. Then we can get the glue up. Now you may be thinking to yourself, but why? Why would we do this? The easiest reason of why we would be doing this is because we can. For 2, Feather Damascus is considered probably one of the hardest Damascus to do, because it is constantly trying to tear itself apart the entire time you're doing it, especially when you do the split, flip, and weld. the ends are trying to tear itself out. And it could go completely the wrong way right at the end, just like all Damascus can, but especially with Feather Damascus. And all of it's going to be available to you to then use. The whole objective of this is to take what would probably take me about a week to do, to then be able to do it here in a couple hours. You know, building your can, putting the layers in, welding it up, taking the can off, cutting off a slice, and going from there. We are going to cover this the entire time. We have from January till November to get this thing done. And that is what all my videos are going to be about here coming in 2025, is streamlining Feather Damascus through the use of a canister and fine mesh steel powder. All right, now all that's out of the way, we're going to put a little bit of painter's tape on our piece here. I don't want to try and etch this again. Once we get everything glued up, all that's going to do is help protect it from our lovely epoxy. Is it great? Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. Is it awesome? I think so. Do we need to trim it down a little bit in places? Yes, we do. Now that we got it finished here, we need to kind of trim in here a little bit, and on the back of here just a little bit. So I'm gonna go do that right now. All right. Now I ended up putting just a little, taking a rag and putting some gator piss on it and touching these up here. So I'm gonna put some Windex on this to stop the reaction. It just blended it in a little bit. And then we're gonna take some alcohol, and we're gonna put some alcohol on that in the tang, get the tang all cleaned up, because we don't want any oils or anything on that. You can't even tell that I kind of shaved this back end off a little bit. Now, ideally, what you want to do is you want to have your epoxy kind of warm, heated up, so that it's not going to be so hard to squeeze out of the tube. And I'm not using anything special when it comes to epoxy. I'm using the Harbor Freight brand. I've always used the Harbor Freight brand. It works really well. Are there better epoxies out there? Yeah. Do they cost more money? Yes, they do. Am I going to spend that money? Probably not. So I just use a Harbor Freight brand or any other epoxies that I can get my hand on when I'm doing this, just to keep the cost down a little bit here, because, you know, this shop doesn't make a lot of money, and I don't have a lot of money. So what I try and do is I try and keep my costs as low as possible and use what works. So we're gonna just put that down in that slot right there. Get a bunch of it globbed on there. We're gonna take and wipe off what we don't need. I'm gonna just start shoving that down inside that slot. Let that sit here a little bit. We're going to put our tape back on our piece because we were a little bit off when we got done finished shaping that handle portion. So I want to make sure we get as little epoxy up on the blade as possible. Let me go to glue this in here. And it's already pretty tight. Right there. And we're gonna take our brass pin. Yeah, I like bamboo pins, but this will be good for right here, for right now. Take that brass pin, get a nice globbing of epoxy on it. Now we need a little pressure here. We're gonna go take you guys, hold on. Take you guys over here. We're gonna bang this through there. All right, that little excess epoxy around the edge here. We gotta do a final sanding here. So we're gonna put that around the edge of that to help seal that off. But that right there, just need to go sit up, be good to go. We're gonna take it into here. We're gonna put it on our clips and we're gonna let it dry. We're just gonna let this thing sit here and dry. It'll take a little bit to get done, but essentially we're ready to go. Now the only other one we have to do now is we got this little bitty guy that goes with it. We're gonna get that finished off camera. And the next time you guys see this, make sure you have your checkbooks ready and let's sign up and get this thing raffled off. Once again, thank you very much, everybody. Hope you had a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a Happy New Year. Love you all. Take it easy. Stay safe. Be well. And as always, Forge on.